What if Cinna, Bonnie, and Emiru were trapped in an elevator for 24 hours? Imagine this. You step into an elevator, the doors close, everything seems normal. Then suddenly, the elevator jerks, the lights flicker, and it stops. No movement, no music, no rescue. The elevator suddenly stops. Everyone freezes. For about 3 seconds, nobody says anything. Then Cinna immediately starts pressing every button. Not just one button, every button. Up, down, emergency, door open, door close. Buttons that probably don't even do anything. Bonnie starts laughing because the situation feels too ridiculous to be real. Meanwhile, Emiru is staring at the floor indicator, hoping it'll magically start moving again. Nobody wants to admit they're worried, but everybody is worried. The first few minutes are spent trying to figure out what happened. Someone presses the emergency intercom. A voice answers. Estimated rescue time. Static fills the hallway. Then the voice continues. 24 hours. They explain that help is on the way. Unfortunately, on the way turns out to be much longer than expected. The realization slowly sinks in. They're not getting out anytime soon. And that's when the true chaos begins. Hour 2. The investigation. Humans have a strange habit. When they're trapped somewhere, they suddenly become detectives. Cinna begins examining the walls. Bonnie checks every corner. Emiru inspects the control panel. Nobody actually knows what they're looking for, but everyone pretends they're helping. Bonnie starts making theories. Maybe the elevator is haunted. Maybe someone accidentally unplugged the building. Maybe the elevator simply decided it didn't feel like working today. The theories become increasingly ridiculous, and somehow they become more entertaining than the actual situation. For a while, boredom hasn't arrived yet. The elevator is still interesting. That won't last. Hour 3 to 5, the entertainment era. The reality of being trapped finally settles in. Now they need something to do. Bonnie naturally takes control of the entertainment department. She starts telling stories, funny stories, embarrassing stories, stories that somehow get more dramatic every time they're retold. Cinna joins in. Soon they're discussing weird internet trends, strange encounters, and moments they wish had never happened on stream. Emiru contributes occasional comments that somehow end up being the funniest part of the conversation. Hours pass surprisingly quickly. They start making up games, guessing games, hypothetical questions, random challenges. At one point, they spend 20 minutes debating which animal would survive longest in an office building. Nobody knows how they got there, but they're invested. The elevator has slowly transformed into a podcast studio. Hour 6 to 8, the snack crisis. Eventually, somebody gets hungry. This changes everything. Food becomes the most important topic in the elevator. Suddenly, everyone's discussing what they wish they could eat right now. Pizza, burgers, ramen, chicken. Everything sounds amazing. Unfortunately, talking about food only makes things worse. If anyone happened to bring snacks, those snacks instantly become the most valuable items in the elevator. A single bag of chips suddenly feels like a national treasure. Portions become carefully calculated. Nobody wants to finish the snacks too quickly, yet somehow, they're gone much faster than expected. This is the point where morale takes a noticeable hit. Hunger is undefeated. Hour 9 to 12, the boredom monster. This is where things get dangerous. Not physically dangerous, mentally dangerous. The entertainment ideas begin running out. The stories have been told. The games have been played. The jokes have been repeated. Now comes boredom. Pure boredom. The kind of boredom that makes people stare at walls. The kind that makes a ceiling suddenly look fascinating. Bonnie starts inventing random games. Cinna starts counting things. Emiru finds herself observing details nobody would normally notice. Tiny scratches on the walls, patterns in the flooring. The blinking emergency light. Time begins moving painfully slowly. Every minute feels like 10. This is the longest section of the entire 24-hour experience, and everyone feels it. Hour 13 to 16, the deep talk phase. Something interesting happens when people are stuck together long enough. The conversation changes. The jokes become less frequent. The discussions become more personal. People start talking about their lives, their goals, their fears, their biggest successes, their biggest mistakes. Questions appear that normally wouldn't come up. What would you do if money didn't matter? What's your biggest regret? What's the weirdest thing fame has changed about your life? These conversations can last for hours. The elevator becomes surprisingly quiet, not because nobody has anything to say, but because everyone is actually listening. For the first time all day, nobody is focused on escaping. They're focused on each other, and weirdly enough, this becomes one of the best parts of the experience. Hour 17 to 20, the delirium arc. Lack of sleep, lack of movement, too much time together, the perfect recipe for nonsense. Everything becomes funny, a random sound, a weird facial expression, a bad joke. Somehow these things become hilarious. The group starts laughing at things that would make absolutely no sense to anyone outside the elevator. Inside jokes are created every few minutes. By this point, they have probably forgotten what normal conversation sounds like. They have entered a completely different reality. The elevator universe. Population 3. Logic no longer exists. Only chaos. Hour 21 to 23. The escape planning. Energy returns. Not because they're feeling better, because they're desperate. Everyone wants out. The group starts brainstorming escape plans. Most of them are terrible. Some are impossible. A few are probably illegal. But they discuss them anyway. Maybe they can force the doors open. Maybe they can climb through the ceiling. Maybe they can somehow become elevator engineers in the next 10 minutes. None of these ideas work, but planning them helps pass the time. And honestly, that's all that matters. Hour 24. Freedom. Then it happens. A sound, a vibration. The elevator suddenly shakes. Everyone immediately jumps to their feet. After 24 long hours, something is finally happening. The floor indicator lights up. The numbers begin changing. For the first time all day, the elevator is moving. Cinna starts smiling. Bonnie cheers. Even Emiru looks relieved. The elevator slowly comes to a stop. Then the doors begin opening. Fresh air, bright lights, freedom. The three step outside without hesitation. The nightmare is over. Something isn't right. At first, everything seems normal. The hallway is quiet, maybe a little too quiet. No workers, no maintenance crew, no security. Nobody is there. Which is strange. An elevator had supposedly been stuck for an entire day. Surely somebody would be waiting. Bonnie points this out. Nobody has an answer. They begin walking. The hallway stretches ahead. The carpet looks familiar. The walls look familiar. Everything feels familiar. Then Emiru suddenly stops. She notices something. A scratch on the wall. A tiny scratch shaped like a lightning bolt. The exact same scratch she noticed earlier inside the elevator. The one she spent 15 minutes staring at during the boredom phase. The others laugh. It has to be a coincidence, right? The hallway. The group keeps walking. Faster now. The hallway never seems to end. Every corner leads to another identical corridor. Every turn looks the same. Every door looks the same. After 10 minutes of walking, Bonnie glances behind her. Then she freezes. At the end of the hallway is an elevator. Their elevator. The same dented doors, the same floor indicator, the same blinking button. The elevator they supposedly left. But that's impossible. They've been walking for 10 minutes. Nobody says anything. Nobody wants to be the first person to admit they're scared. The truth. Then the intercom crackles. The same intercom from the elevator. A voice speaks. The voice sounds distorted, old, broken, like a recording that's been replayed thousands of times. It says, estimated rescue time, 24 hours. The group stares at each other. The message repeats, again and again and again, every 30 seconds, as if the building itself is stuck, like a scratched CD, repeating forever. The discovery. Eventually, they return to the elevator, because there is nowhere else to go. The hallway simply loops back to it every time. No matter which direction they choose, no matter how long they walk, the elevator is always waiting, like it wants them back. The final realization. Bonnie suddenly checks her phone. No signal. Not surprising. Then she checks the time. 11:47 p.m. The exact time the elevator originally stopped. She refreshes it. Nothing changes. Minutes pass. Still 11:47 p.m. The clock has stopped. Time itself has stopped. The elevator never moved. The doors never opened. The hallway never existed. It was all part of the elevator. A dream, a simulation, a prison. Nobody knows. What they do know is far worse. They were never rescued, they never left, and they never will. Cinna, Bonnie, Emiru, sitting silently inside the elevator, exactly where they started. The floor indicator still reads 13. The emergency light continues blinking. The intercom crackles one last time. Estimated rescue time.
24 hours. The elevator doors slowly close.